So being kind of a former athlete and former coach, having a scoreboard there didn't bother me at all. In fact, it became a goal. So and by the way, also part of my background, I was a math teacher, so very much associated with data, the use of the collection of data and the use of data. And that, of course, is what this assessment system, if you will, did, is it provided more data. So what we did is we kind of grabbed onto the fact that there was going to be this scoreboard, and if that's what the way we're going to do it, let's play. Let's go at this and do as best as we possibly can do. And then what that made us do is kind of dive in to what are the things that increases student achievement. Because in the end, that's what you're measuring with all these assessments. So in order to get high student scores, I mean, the research is actually pretty clear. It's easy to say, it's harder to do. But it's things like having a quality curriculum. I mean, an in-depth curriculum where students learn multiple concepts, but also at a deep level. And that curriculum has to be articulated, and you must do it. You can't say you're going to do it and then the teachers go off and do something else. So we put that in place. We involved the teachers in that. The principals, and took a leadership role, and we put that curriculum in place. And we would every year measure that to make sure it was happening. We'd observe our teachers. We made sure the curriculum was happening. The second thing was quality instruction. I mean, we have these teachers, we talk about the talent that they bring. Well, it's my job as an administrator, as a supervisor, to make sure that quality is happening. So we train the teachers. We determine what a lesson looked like. How would they start a lesson? How often would they review with kids? How would we do summarizing strategies? All those things that increase student achievement, we trained our teachers to do. The third thing was a high quality assessment system. Now, everybody's taken tests in school, and the thing that's most infuriating is a teacher that thinks they're teaching to a high level, but gives a test with true, false, and multiple choice questions. Well, that didn't happen in Central Columbia. Every unit assessment that we gave in any grade and in any subject, and I mean math and English and phys ed and agriculture, all those courses, kids were expected to think, to answer questions, to be able to write. That was expected everywhere. So if you became a student at Central, or as you worked through the system, when you walked into a class that the teacher was going to have a high-level curriculum, they were going to ask you to do things, and you were going to have a high-level assessment system at the end. And then finally, if you have all of that, of course, if you have an assessment system, you're collecting data on students. You know what they can do and what they can't do vis-a-vis the standards and so forth. Well, what good schools do is not only collect that data, but they then analyze it. What's it tell you about the student? What's it tell you about your curriculum? What's it tell you about your assessment? But they then utilize this, and this goes to the scientific method, to then go back and make adjustments. Make adjustments for your curriculum. Make adjustments for the students. If you discover that a student is in need of a particular area, do you just ignore it? Or do you put things in place to make that happen? And what all of those things did, I mean, I use the coach metaphor that if to win on Friday night, if I can block the defensive end and run off tackle, well, I spend all week working on that. And if my tight end needs extra time, well, I'm going to give him extra time because we're going to make sure we get that done. Well, that's the way we would approach our instruction. Here's what you need to do, curriculum. I'm going to teach you how to do it, instruction. I'm going to measure how you do it. How did you do on Friday night? And if you didn't do well, we were going to work more on it and make sure you were better. What that did is it dramatically boosted our students' academic achievement. It was reflected in the scores, and it made us a very high-performing school.